Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Mike Perch, and I'm with Roadmap Consulting. Sorry, we're kind of getting off to a little bit of a late start and had a little technical difficulty there for a moment, but it looks like we've got a good number of people who have dialed in to sit through this webinar, and very happy to have you. And hopefully it'll be worth your time. Hopefully I'll be able to share some ideas and concepts to do with what we're doing now with our strategic business planning, marketing, and capture management services that will be beneficial to you as you hear them. So we're going to get started. This is probably going to last for about 15-20 minutes. Not going to take up too much of your time. This is meant to kind of give you an idea of the service that we offer, some of the finer points of it, and for those of you who have an interest beyond just this presentation, this very short presentation, we'd be more than happy to sit down with you and discuss your own specific requirements and needs that your company has as far as obtaining your goals and objectives as far as marketing to the government. So we'll just go ahead and get started and go for about 15-20. We'll save room at the end for questions. Just a bit of a housekeeping note for those of you who would like to submit questions. Feel free to do so through the online GoToWebinar setup so that we can actually field those questions as we go. Okay, so a little bit about me first of all. My name is Mike Perch again. I'm the owner of the company. Roadmap Consulting basically is a boutique shop that handles small businesses, and we have some medium-sized companies as well, that actually have requirements to do business with the federal government. So we do everything from helping you to get 8A certified, to helping you to get on GSA schedule, to competing for some of the larger IDIQ contracts and GWAC opportunities that are out there, to finding suitable teaming partners for you to go after certain opportunities, to maybe even mentoring a company if you're in the 8A program, or being mentored if you desire to do that. We help out in every aspect of your desire to do business with the federal government. So we have large clients like George Mason University that we're doing their GSA MOBIS schedule for, and we have a company that just started up less than a year ago who we helped get 8A certified using the 2-year waiver provision within the 8A program. And we have probably about, I'd say, almost 6-7 dozen customers at this point that we assist. So we do a lot from A to Z, from the smaller companies to the larger companies, and certainly we can help you with your own specific needs. My own personal background is I owned a company that I had for 17 years. I sold it back about 6 years ago, back in 2006, late 2006. The company grew to about $12 million in revenue, about 40 employees located among 4 states. It was a systems integration firm that did very well within the federal space, and after I sold the company, I started Roadmap Consulting. I'm also a member of the Service Corps of Retired Executives, otherwise known as SCORE, an organization closely related to the Small Business Administration, and I've been involved as a mentor and a counselor over at SCORE now since 2007. Okay, so we'll jump right into the presentation. And basically, the strategic business planning and marketing and capture management service that we offer kind of answers the dilemma that a lot of companies find when trying to do business with the federal government. As this chart indicates, there's somewhere in the range of 5.8 million U.S.-based small businesses engaged in federal government contracting spread throughout the United States. And they're all trying to access this $600 billion federal market. It's probably a little shy of $600 billion, more like $550 billion at this point. And of course, the way you access the market, unlike the commercial market that we're all accustomed to, is not by just simply picking up the phone or sending an email or dropping by a certain company and asking if you can do business with them. But there are certain processes, certain methodical steps, tactical steps that you have to take in order to access that government marketplace, which consists of everything from getting SBA designations to actually acquiring contract vehicles such as GSA schedules, IDIQs, BPAs, and so on. So the government operates in such a way, in such a fashion, that you're required to actually take certain steps in order to gain access to the marketplace itself. So our company provides, again, the pathway for you to get there. And so we do things like help you with your strategic business development consulting. So if you tell us that you have, I don't know, 3 to 6 targeted agencies that you'd like us to help you to access and actually penetrate, we develop an actual customized approach to doing that, and that's what the SPV service that we're talking about today entails. As I mentioned before, we also do things like develop your GSA schedule, and not just get you on schedule, as I like to tell a lot of clients. We just don't get you on schedule because anyone can get on schedule, but the thing that we try to do, or the thing that we do for our clients, is we help them to get onto schedule strategically so that they can actually market the products and services that are placed on that schedule to a wide range of federal government clients. So we get you on, you get your professional services, your products, whatever it might be, solutions on the schedule such that you will be able to acquire business after you've gotten that contract negotiated. Sadly enough, 22,000 companies on GSA schedule, more than 30% of them are about to be terminated off the schedule because they haven't generated any business. And usually that can be traced back to them actually having gotten their products and services on schedule and not done so in a very strategic manner, which means they're not going to acquire any buyers from the federal government. So we help with that. We also do GWAC proposals, as I mentioned, RFP proposal support. Of course, we do all the SBA certifications, HubZone, 8A, women-owned. We do contract modifications for GSA schedules, and so on and so forth. So as we have already covered, we provide cost-effective market intelligence consultation, marketing support services to help position our clients to increase their federal government market penetration potential. Okay, so what this chart kind of indicates, and hopefully you guys can read it, this indicates for some of you what would represent the typical penetration, or I should say progression, as you enter into the federal marketplace, especially if you're successful, obviously. And this is representative of a lot of our clients that we do business with. They're at various stages within this chart. As representative of the company that I own, we did exactly these 14 different steps, and we're able to become very successful as a result of it. Step number 1, again, this is a typical progression chart. It doesn't represent every single company that's out there, but it does represent a wide range of them. Step number 1 is where you get started. You've gone for a couple of years. You've maybe acquired some subcontracts, and then you start to want to up-tier your company to maybe acquire more in the way of prime contracts with the federal government. So you go about acquiring contract vehicles, small business designations that we just talked about. You get 8A certified, you get HubZone certified, you acquire your GSA schedule, you get on a couple of IDIQ contracts, maybe as a prime, maybe as a sub, but in any event, you've now gotten yourself into the game, and you have certain quals that allow government agencies to pay particular attention to doing business with you. So then you move on to step number 2, which is where you gain agency intelligence. You start to do your homework on the agencies. You look at the acquisitional forecast. You do the kind of things that help to position you to be able to market that particular agency effectively. Step number 3 is where you then get in front of the right people. Step number 3 and 4, you get in front of the right people as a result of your research, and you do your capabilities briefings. You find out where their needs are, what requirements they may have coming up that you might avail yourself to. If you're an 8A firm, obviously you find out if there are any sole source opportunities that may be coming up, and you take advantage of the information that's being this presented to you by the program managers and contracting officers that you've been able to engage with. Step number 5 is where you actually gain an award. Someone decides to take a chance with you. They decide to give you a little bit of business just to see how you perform. And that can be done either through a prime contract directly to you, or it can be done through a subcontract with an existing company at that agency. But either way, they're kind of testing you out. So step number 6 is where you come in. That's where you got to really, really push to move your company ahead, and that's where you have to perform on whatever the opportunity is, whatever amount of work they give you, large or small, you got to perform. And typically speaking, after you've done a good job, they'll give you another contract, steps 6 through 10, or excuse me, 6 through 9, and of course you have to perform there as well. Step number 10 is where you then have established yourself as a top performing company. Every bit of work you've been given, you've done a great job, and you become one of the go-to companies at that agency in your own specific area of endeavor. And once you become a go-to company, step number 11 is a step that we recommend you take, and again, this is what a lot of our clients have done and what I've done in my experience with my own company too, is where you then convince the contracting officer and your program manager, your COTAR, to put together some sort of an IDIQ, BPA, or BOA that allows your firm to receive task order contracts that don't require you have to go out and actually get an award for every single piece of work that you get. So if you're an 8A company, you can get a IDIQ up to $4 million over a period of 5 years that will allow that agency then to issue specific task orders to your company, which speeds up the actual cycle of procurement that takes place whenever new work is being issued to you. It saves cost. It saves a lot of effort on the part of the government. So everybody seems to, really like those. And of course, based upon your solid performance that you've been able to achieve, everybody's happy with that sort of an arrangement. And that's where your company really grows. And in our case, we probably at one particular agency, NSWC Dahlgren, we probably had a half a dozen of those IDIQ type contracts. As soon as we would get to the maximum amount, after issuing a number of task orders, we put another one in place. We just kind of kept going that way, and everyone seemed to like the arrangement. And it worked real well, and it was very profitable for us. So you move on from step number 11 then to maybe competing at a very high level. In the case of an agency like DHS, if you're fortunate enough to get an IDIQ and perform very well and have a solid track record of, let's say, over a 2 to 3, 5-year period, then the next time the Eagle competition rolls around, then you're in a very, very solid position to compete at a very high level on a very large contract vehicle within that agency, an agency-specific contract vehicle. So Eagle 2, as you probably know, a lot of you probably know, is about to be awarded sometime this year. That's about a $40–50 billion IDIQ contract that's specific to DHS. That a lot of companies that have been successful at DHS, small businesses, 8As, hub zones, and what have you, have probably availed themselves to compete for, and a number of companies will receive an Eagle 2 award as a prime contractor, which is quite an achievement. So step number 12 is when you do that, and that can be at any agency. It can be at the Air Force, it can be at the Navy, it can be at NIH through the CIO, SI, or SPO contract. You can compete at that level once you've built up a solid portfolio of work and receive a very, very, very well thought of prime contract at that agency. So step number 13 is where you then will experience tremendous growth, because obviously receiving one of those prime contract awards will allow you to not only gain a lot of work yourself, but you'll also be facilitating a lot of work by companies that are subs to you that need access to the contract vehicle that you own. And so that's where companies really take off in terms of growth. And then step number 14 is where you either start on a path of acquiring other firms, or you set yourself up to be acquired. To give you an example, on Eagle 1, I think there were 8 small businesses that got awarded prime contracts on that vehicle, and within about 2 or 3 years after the vehicle was awarded, I think all but one of those 8 small businesses were acquired by larger firms. And the reason is obvious. If you're one of 7 or 8 firms that are competing for $40 billion worth of business, your value as a company goes up tremendously, and you become an acquisition target. So can be the case with your firm if you start out at point number 1 and you kind of make your way up the food chain and end up at point number 14. So that represents the typical progression of a small firm. The next chart that I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is the actual strategic business planning and marketing and capture management flow chart that we do here at Roadmap Consulting. And it starts off with point number 1, where after we've engaged with you and you've actually told us that you're interested in having us assist you to get to meet certain goals and objectives as far as your market penetration within the federal government sector. You have some targeted agencies that you'd like us to help you to really start to penetrate. What we'll do is we'll sit down with you initially and we'll go through about anywhere between a full day, or I should say a half day to a full day's worth of conversations with you. We have a business operations survey that we talk you through, composed of about 75 questions, where we really try to get our arms around your company. We get a little bit of your history. We get your strengths, your weaknesses. Of course, we do the SWOT analysis of your company. We really understand what it is you're trying to achieve and where you are now positioned so that we can best advise you on how you can go forward. So step number 1 is where we do that. Step number 2 is where we fall back to our office for about a couple of weeks and we put together the initial draft strategic business plan for your company. And we go into great detail of indicating a lot of information on the agencies that you're interested in going after. We will pull together the mission statement of the agency, the organizational chart. We'll tell you a lot about their spending levels as it pertains to each one of the NICS codes that you're interested in going after. We'll talk about the level of competition. We'll talk about the contract vehicles that are utilized at that agency and how you might access those vehicles if you're not already on them. So we go into a lot of depth after we've gotten, of course, past point number 1. And we present that to you in such a way that you then have the ability to come back and give us more feedback to help us fine-tune the document. But usually the document's fairly well put together, the document after we've gone through the first step. Concurrent with that activity, we also obviously, in step number 3, we're working with you in some cases to help improve your marketing collateral. We'll help you to draft up something we found to be very effective, and that is project summaries of all the past work that you've done. We have a very effective format that we use that's been well received by contracting officers and program managers, so we'll put a lot of your information into that document. We'll go and start accessing through market intelligence sources. As I mentioned earlier, things like org charts of the agencies you have an interest in, spending levels, whether or not the agency has met its small business goals, 8A goals, HubZone goals, that sort of market intelligence will give you. We'll give you a lot of information to really delve through, and not just present you with the information, but we'll also give you some of our strategic recommendations based upon our findings of how you might best market your company to that agency. Step number 5 is where we will also go in and register you with a lot of the top prime contractors, the 100 top prime contractors for the federal government. The reason we do that is that, and many of you have probably already done that, but there's a tremendous amount of work that you can receive as a subcontractor from the big primes, because they do have to sub out 23% of their business to small businesses. At least that's the goal. They don't always achieve that, but that's the goal. And by registering yourself on those sites, those large companies, and doing so in such a way that is complete and accurate and gives them a very good impression of your company, we've seen a lot of clients of ours receive a lot of subcontract work as a result of just simply registering on a particular company's website as a supplier or a small business. And so we do that as a matter of service to our clients that we engage in our SPB service. Step number 6 is where we call it the accountability factor. We will meet with you on a monthly basis to let you know of our findings, all the information that we've been able to gather, any news events that may have occurred that may affect your company and its ability to market itself to the agencies. Anything that we may uncover, we get in front of you on a monthly basis and talk with you about our findings. Step number 7 is that concurrent with all those activities, we also will publicize all of your great successes through a service that we subscribe to. We're able to actually publish press releases for our clients that access, or actually I should say impact 300 news organizations around the country. And the reason there is very simple. We're trying to get your company noticed. We're trying to get more attention drawn toward your company, either through hits on your website or calls to you to inquire about possible teaming opportunities by some of the other companies that may read about the successes of your firm. Sometimes organizations like Washington Times, or I should say Federal Times, or Washington Technology will pick up certain articles about your firm. And of course, your program managers and contracting officers and other government officials read those magazines. So it's a good way of getting your name out there, increasing the amount of followers on Twitter for your company, amount of people on Facebook that like your firm. So we use our own service that we've been very successful at utilizing for our own purpose to benefit that of our clients in terms of getting them noticed. So it's been very successful for a lot of our clients as well. So step number 8 is then step number 8 through 10 is where we actually then will put together a lot of information like your targeted agencies, your targeted contract vehicles. Will form a database for those individual agencies and contract vehicles. We'll start to track certain contract vehicles. Like for instance, some of our clients are very, very interested that we made them aware of the fact that a brand new contract vehicle is about to come out this coming summer. SEWP, spelled SEWP 5, which is the 5th version of that contract vehicle, is coming out, which is a tremendous contract vehicle that's used by the folks over at NASA, as well as other civilian agencies throughout the government. And getting on that contract vehicle as a prime or even as a sub is a very big strategic step that you may want to take. So one of the things we do is we'll keep our eyes and ears open for opportunities like that for some of our clients to actually get on those type vehicles. Step number 9 is where we will, of course, monitor the activity at some of the prime contractors to make sure that if they do have an interest in talking to you, that we make sure that you're able to respond back to them. Step number 10 is where we establish the GSA. If you have a GSA schedule, we'll monitor all the GSA eBuy activities, and we'll pull out those opportunities that closely match your company's capabilities and make you aware of them so that you don't miss those opportunities. And then step number 11 through 15 is where you then make the decision on the opportunities you want to pursue. Of course, being a small business, you can't pursue every single opportunity there is out there, but our job is to give you those opportunities, maybe even help you develop a bid, no bid, or go, no go type strategy so that you can then make wise decisions on resource allocation as far as going after those opportunities. So 11 through 15, or I should say 14, is where you then make those decisions. We can support you in a variety of different ways. We can actually go out on actual calls with you. If you'd like to do a capabilities briefing and you'd like us to come along, we can certainly accompany you. We can develop email campaigns for you for certain agencies. We can also put together networking opportunities for you to get together with other firms that may have a foot in the door at that agency that might be good for you to leverage your capabilities with. Help execute win strategies to position your firm to bid on opportunities. We can also help you to prepare the actual proposals. In some cases, for those competitive opportunities, we have some good proposal writing people here at the company that can assist you there. And the ultimate goal, obviously, is to get you to step 15, where you start to win business. So that's kind of our comprehensive approach to strategic business planning and marketing and capture management. And as I said, it's customizable for every single company that we do business with. It's not just a cookie-cutter approach, but for every company, we emphasize different points along the way to help them to achieve their ultimate goal of winning business. So, the thing that we try to give our clients is a value proposition that is cost-effective. And so for some clients that may be looking at maybe hiring BD people, salespeople that will go out and actually try to do all those things that we just synopsized, if you were to look at the cost savings compared to hiring us, where we are actually doing some of those same type of tasks that those BD people or salespeople would be doing, in most cases, and our clients kind of bear this out, the ones that we've been able to bring on in the last couple of months, it is a more cost-effective approach to accomplishing the ultimate goal of growing your federal contract business. And it's a team effort, obviously. It's not just a reliance upon one individual. We have some very strong, experienced contract folks here who have had similar experiences as mine within the federal government. So you're getting a forum of individuals that are all gathered together to help you to achieve your goals and, of course, move your company forward. So I went a little bit beyond where I said I'd end up, but that's a little bit about our our strategic business planning and marketing and capture management service that we offer. We can follow this presentation up with a 1-hour consultation for anyone who might want to come in and meet with us and discuss your own company's specific needs that you may have. I'd be more than happy to help you. We have right now about a half dozen companies that are participating in this particular service that we just introduced back in November, and I can tell you that every single company that we've brought on is very happy with what we've been able to provide them with, and we certainly like to work with you and your company. On the screen now is my contact information here at Roadmap, along with Nathan Cogdell's contact information, as well as our phone number and address. Please give us a call and let us know if we can be of any assistance to you. So at this point, I'll end the presentation and just look to see if there are any questions that any of you may have that I can answer before I conclude the presentation. Take a few minutes just to hold off to see if there's any questions. Looks like there haven't been any that have been issued at this point, but I'll hold off just to see if there's any that you'd like to send that we might address before ending the presentation. Okay. Well, it looks like all of you have pretty much gotten all your questions answered. I don't know if I did that good of a job during the presentation, but let's hope so. Again, feel free to give me or Nathan an email or a phone call and present any questions you may have on the service that we offer. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about it, as well as we'll offer references of some companies we do business with right now that would speak to the the question of whether or not they're satisfied with how we've done with them. I think it's a very attractive service, something that can be very beneficial to small companies who are trying to access the federal government market. And again, we'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for your time. Again, this is Mike Perch. Let me know if I can be of any assistance.